creative problem is solved, you can just make videos like this for 40 cents. Now that that problem is solved, that was the last step in the automation. I actually do a lot of work with Google VO3 to generate like Instagram Reels ads.
What do you do when you get laid off from your 9 to 5? You don't just find another job, you build a machine that makes you the boss. Today we're joined by Andrew, the founder of Biddable. From a career marketer at top agencies to a solopreneur mastering the home services niche, Andrew has cracked the code on lead generation. By leveraging N8N automation and cutting-edge AI creative tools like Google VO, he's turned the complex world of meta ads into a magic lead flow engine for plumbers, electricians, and gutter companies. We're diving into why your first startup idea might be your worst, how to build a fully viable product without writing a single line of code, and the secret to scaling your agency by selling directly to networks.
A couple of months ago, I actually got laid off from my last company. I was at a programmatic media shop and, I just had to start making money, right? I got laid off and I had bills to pay. So the customer imagines, I'm sure, that it's very, very technical. To them, it happens like magic, right? But the truth is, it's just a lead agency, right? And I'm really good at getting leads, so I do it all in the background. Everything happens on end, essentially. I'm not a developer. I actually don't know how to code. If you know who the market is, the marketing of the product becomes a lot easier. You got to know your market. That's number one.
It was really amazing, from losing your job and building your own business. If I ask you about the core expertise of Biddable, so what it is? Hey Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hey Venkata, good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining the show, and I'm really excited for today's conversation. So let's kick off the episode with your journey. So how it all started from being the campaign manager and starting your own business like Biddable. So what led you to start Biddable, and how was your journey started into the social media or even the marketing side?
Yeah, so it's been a pretty long journey from my career marketing wise. I started back in 2018. I was at a small ad agency called DX Agency out in New Jersey. From there, I worked at a few different companies for like 7.5 years. And then a couple of months ago, I actually got laid off from my last company. I was at a programmatic media shop and, I just had to start making money, right? I got laid off and I had bills to pay. So I took on some freelance clients. Things went pretty well. Things happen very, very fast when you go into business for yourself. So I saw some success there. I had also been building Biddable as kind of like a side project, right? It was supposed to be an ads platform. And as soon as I tried to meet the market with it, I realized there was no market for it, right? I was building an ads platform for small businesses or small business owners that are typically way too busy to work on their own ads. And that's why they hire somebody else in the first place. So it was a bad startup idea, basically. I trimmed it all down to just be basically a landing page for lead generation services, which is what I do primarily in my freelance business. And so now the company just focuses on exactly that, lead gen for small businesses. But the big sell is that we automate everything. The customer only has to go into the platform, set a cost per lead they're willing to pay, fund their wallet. And then we go out and get the leads for them without any intervention on their end. Primarily, it's for in-home services, which that's like if you're going to hire a plumber or an electrician or something like that, anybody to work on your house. That's a huge leads industry here in the States. So, and I know a little bit about the industry too. Like I have family that works in gutters, so I did have a little bit of knowledge about it. And I really just, attacked the industry. I've been most recently working on getting platform partnerships. So instead of selling to individual businesses, I can just upload the leads to a network and have them sold immediately without as much intervention on my end. Something I'm trying to accomplish with the business is so that it doesn't need me so much, right? Because right now the entire business is me. I'm essentially just a freelancer. But if I can automate a lot of the process in the background, then I have a fully viable product that I can, exit from, or maybe just make some money off in the background, and then see where it goes from there. But that's Biddable. That's been my journey. Happy to answer any other questions or, give advice as, if anybody's doing something similar.
Got it. Yeah, it was really amazing, from losing your job and building your own business. Kind of inspiring journey. Yeah, I saw your website, and the way you mentioned your offer is straightforward. So you work for the businesses and you give them the leads and the opportunities, and you mainly focusing on the ROI for the businesses. So if I ask you about the core expertise of Biddable, so what it is?
So as far as tech is concerned, Biddable is a very simple product. Everything happens on end, essentially. When a customer, I'm going to use gutters as an example. I've been working on gutters all day, so I'm like in gutters mode. But say that a gutter company comes to me and they need leads, right? I already have a landing page set up, right, with ads running to it. and I just need to set up different workflows that ping them the leads. So that's usually done through NA. I'm not a developer. I actually don't know how to code. I very recently got into like agentic coding tools because they've become popular. And, I can easily build a
Mm,
website. I can do very basic things, but I'm by no means a developer. But the tools that exist today make it so you kind of don't have to be. I can very easily, N8N has an integration for everything that I use, right? So Facebook ads, some customers even just want leads in a Google Sheet. That's incredibly easy to do. Like, it's 2 nodes. So tech-wise, the product is it's not super technical. It's very, very simple. The customer imagines, I'm sure, that it's very, very technical. To them, it happens like magic, right? They imagine that, it's like this cutting-edge tech product that like completely automates the process of getting leads. But the truth is, it's just a lead agency, right? And I'm really good at getting leads, so I do it all in the background. And so to the customer, it feels like magic.
got it. So your main focus is only on the lead generation, or you're also offering any other services like the email campaigns and getting the sales through meta ads or something like that?
That's a good question. I think in the future we can expand our services out. There's always more to do when it comes to leads. For example, like we've already gotten a lot of requests for call support or call routing support. That kind of stuff is a little bit more complex to set up. So we're looking to do that in the future.
Mm,
With meta
that's
ads, originally, yes, the platform was supposed to work so that the small business can buy meta ads through us. That economically doesn't work as far as I think, right? Because meta ads is already set up. So if somebody feels confident running their own advertising, they're just going to go directly to Meta, right? Why would they pay an extra platform to run the ads? My idea was, okay, I can make the platform very simple to use, just a simple prompt, and then an agentic workflow does the meta ads. Technically, that's very simple. Just nobody wanted it, honestly. Like I had built it. I actually do have an entire ads platform built out called Biddable Community. It's on GitHub. Anybody can use it. It's open source. And that was the vision for what Biddable was supposed to be. And that includes support for any ads platform that you set up via the API.
mm,
The only reason we don't offer meta ads, like I use meta ads in the business, obviously to generate the leads, but I don't offer it as part of the sell because the business owners kind of don't care, right? Like they don't really care about which ad platform you use. They don't care about landing pages or how you set it up. They really just want the leads. So that was part of like the learning process that I had mentioned before, where I was building an agentic media buying platform and then I realized that nobody, it's cool to me, right? Because I like AI, I like working with different tools, and I've been in advertising my whole life. So to me, it seemed like a great idea.
mm,
I also discovered that there were a bunch of companies already doing that. Like there's this company, Go Marble, and they have an amazing product, honestly. Like it's fully built out, and they don't seem to be targeting the small business market. First, I thought that was like some kind of oversight on their end. I was like, why would you not want to target small businesses with run tons of ads? But it turns out they probably discovered the wall that I hit much earlier on and understand that for advertising products, the real big customers are enterprises because small shops will
mm.
just go directly to the platforms. They don't really need a new platform for themselves specifically. So in a roundabout way, that I hope that answers the meta question.
Yeah, got it. It does really make sense. And yeah, so if we talk about the lead generation now, so especially with the AI, the industry landscape is changing very fast and a lot of new tools coming into the market. And so how you are seeing it and how you are adopting it right now in your business. And if a person comes to your business, or if you are going to work with a client, what is the one thing you suggest for them upfront?
Usually unique creative. You'd be surprised how many businesses have been running creative they got from, the internet somewhere 25, maybe 20 years ago. And they want to put that on Facebook and say, oh, just run Facebook ads. I already have these pictures. And it turns out the pictures are horrible. So the first thing most people need to do is get some kind of new creative. And with the image generation and video generation tools that have come out in the past couple of years, it's now viable to just spin that up, right? You don't have to go hire a photographer and like spend a whole day shooting a
Mm,
video or anything like that. Like I actually do a lot of work with Google VO3 to generate like Instagram Reels ads, and it's perfect for that, right? Because there's kind of a line you have to follow, right? Because people don't love AI generated content. It works for advertising because people understand like,
mm,
okay, well, it's an ad, right? I'm not trying to pass it off as a show that I made or a piece of art or something. It's just an ad. And sometimes like you just need a picture of like a guy standing by a van to put on Facebook. So that kind of thing has made the business much more viable. And that's the kind of thing that I stay on top of technically. Like I'm pretty up to date on, whatever like the newest models are. I have done a little bit of like local work, just making like little apps with AI, like for my own knowledge. Like I made myself a very compact, a limited version of like Claude Code that really can only edit files and delete them if it's asked. But that's how I kind of stay on top of things. I have a lot of side projects. I do like play with the tools that I use for work just to kind of understand them better. But
mm.
there's no real process to it, right? When I see in the news, like, when VO3 came out, I immediately was like, okay, I'm going to use that for video. I just knew. But I'm just passionate about that kind of thing. I've always been I'm like I said, I'm not a developer, but I've always been like conscious of the tech world. Like I like video games, I like computers, I like anything mechanical, I like cars. So naturally, the
Hmm.
AI boom that we're going through today was very interesting to me.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, even in my opinion, we don't really have to be so much expert or the any kind of experienced person in terms of the coding or anything else right now, because vibe coding is really trending. Lot of tools coming into the market which can be solved lot of the pain points or the bottlenecks right now in the industry. So yeah, same opinion for me too. We don't really need to know more about the Python or any other frameworks. We just need to know which tool can solve which problem so that we can help the businesses. So what do you think about it?
I mean, I would agree with you. I think that
Yeah.
it's a great time to learn code. So I had attempted to learn different programming languages at multiple points in my life,
Mm.
and my concentration is pretty bad. I never picked it up. But I started learning with ChatGPT in July, right? I wanted to just make a simple HTML page. And I went from that workflow to like now I can make a full React app, and that's what Buildable Community was. Like it's a fully built out React app. I can hook up databases and authentication, and like I can't write a line of code, but I know how everything pieces together. So I just think it's really cool that anyone can pick that up. I think with the vibe coding thing, there's always the question of security. That's
Mm.
where I would caution people, like just because it looks good, right? You have to kind of find out where things can break and make sure that your app is not going to break in those ways. Speaking of React, there was a massive React vulnerability that came out 2 days ago. I just had to know that came out and then immediately update my website. So it's a great time to learn coding and to be
Mm.
your own developer. But there's a reason that developers are sought after people that get paid a ton of money, because it's about they know what can break, right? Versus if I see a website up, everything's working great. I'm not even thinking about the background. But yeah, I can even help with that, honestly.
Got it. Yeah. And in our podcast, we mainly discuss about the behind the scenes of the businesses. So
Yep.
it is mainly about the discussing about the challenges, what are the real challenges the founders or the operators in the marketing are addressing or the facing right now in the industry. So in your vantage point, so what are the real pain points for your clients? So based on whomever you discussed until now, so what are the things you observed in the industry?
I mean, it's a very simple pain point that I try to address. It's businesses that are struggling to get customers, which today is almost everybody.
Hmm.
That manifests in a few different ways. And a big challenge for us as a business internally is when the reason they can't get customers is something far outside of our control, right? I'm a career marketer, like I mentioned before. I've always been in marketing. So I think from a very like first principles of marketing standpoint. And you can't solve everything by hiring a lead gen agency. You really can't, right? If your core business is absolutely broken and you come to me, I might not be able to do anything for you. I can get people to call you, right? But you might
Hmm.
not be able to convert them. So that gap is a huge challenge for me because it's outside of my control. And I'm really trying not to be like a lead gen consulting agency, because that it's work that I can do, right? It's what I've done, but I don't want I don't want my entire business to revolve around me being there, right? I want it to be a good, viable, successful business. So I would say that that's our main challenge in terms of dealing with clients is how do you tell someone that you can't help them, right? Like sometimes that does happen. Sometimes people come to you, and I always use the example of like there's coffee shops, right, where they'll hire this, flashy marketing agency on Facebook, but they don't even have a sign on the sidewalk that says we're open, right? Like,
Hmm.
people want coffee when they're walking past a coffee shop. It's like simple stuff like that. And there are certain business mistakes that people make that I can't really solve for with the lead gen agency.
So if we talk about the internal challenges, you started like very recently. So until now, what are the kind of real challenge or the bottleneck you have in your business right now?
So for the past couple of weeks, I've done a little bit less outreach because, like I said, I've been working with like bigger networks, so I'm like selling leads to more people faster, which is very good. But the
Mm.
primary bottleneck was sales for me. It was actually getting clients and closing deals. Which when you're working with small businesses, right, every deal might be for a few thousand, a couple $1,000s a month. If it's like a healthy business, they're going to spend $2,000 a month on advertising. But for that $2,000 a month, you're doing a lot of work for each deal to close. So I would spend a ton of time like on LinkedIn, messaging people, emailing people. To this day, I haven't done cold calling yet. I'm not against it. I know
Mm.
that sometimes you have to make rent next month and you got to get on the phone and call people. Like, I get it, but I haven't had to do that yet. I got really lucky though and kind of found a solve for that I was spending so much time on sales by approaching networks directly and saying, hey, I'm a lead generator. You're a network, right, that sells leads. So like, I'm sure you have some kind of API, right, for affiliates where I can just post leads to you guys all day and get paid immediately, or net 30, whatever it is. And I have to sit on the phone with every single client to close every single deal. So that's been a development of the business from the past week or so. I really got traction with networks. I'm trying to transform the business to, I mean, I don't really have a choice, right? Like I need to go where the money is. And I'm going to probably stop messaging like small business directly as much so that I can chase after, the maybe like 5 to 10 big networks that are buying all the leads today. So I mean, that's not the only operational challenge. Sales is a big one for me, but there's also things like I don't have a schedule, right? There's no time when I can say, okay, I'm done with work for the day. Work never stops. When you are a solopreneur or an entrepreneur of any kind, I'm sure right? Like every like business comes first. There's kind of nothing else, right? I could be in the middle of dinner. I could be getting a drink with my girlfriend, and if the phone rings, I pick up. I've never worked harder in my entire life. I'm trying to think, because there's definitely specific operational challenges that we face. So let's see. I think that like having to manage everything is a challenge, like advertising wise. Every single campaign goes through me. I'm the campaign manager, and I do want to hire somebody to help with that very soon, but it's not quite the time yet. But there's no system that I can build to account for like every single thing that has to happen. I just have to have in my head every single thing that happens. And I have to solve every problem too, right? Like, for example, I mentioned before, there was a critical React vulnerability. I can't hire a developer, right, to go fix that for me. It'll take 2 weeks and who knows what it's going to cost. I have to figure out what's the vulnerability, right? Am I affected? Can I even upgrade React? Because will it break my entire website if I upgrade React? Like, there's so many little things that have to happen, but it's rewarding to get them all done. So sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's kind of it for me.
Yeah, no, it does really, make sense what you said. Yeah. Yeah, I truly kind of agree with you. Not only for the startups, even for a lot of companies, they really face the issue with the sales and the marketing, especially because now going with the generic offers or even the vague offers is not going to really work in the market because, people are receiving a lot of emails every day, which are generated by AI or something else. So yeah, sales is really tough, but it should be strategic as well based on the trainings, a lot of trainings and also, I really get what you're saying. So, and if we talk about the future, like, so what is your next move, especially for what are your plans for the 2026?
It's a good question. For 2026, we're positioned to really, really lean into, one vertical, build one pipeline that is, efficient and lucrative and expand from there into multiple verticals. So vertical in the home services just means like, plumbing versus gutters versus electricians. Right now, we do a lot of work in one vertical, but if I can figure out a way to scale the business without scaling the amount of work I do in a day, then I can go after other verticals pretty systemically. So for example, if I'm thinking about, I'm always thinking about automating the entire process, right? So if I can hit a button or, a few buttons and have an entire lead flow built out within a couple of minutes, that would be huge because there's so much opportunity in leads. There's so many different people that need leads in so many different ways. And now that like the creative problem is solved and that you don't have to, hire a creative agency to go make you a video that you might not even like and then go back and forth on for 2 months. Like you can just make videos like this for 40 cents. Now that problem is solved, that was the last step in the automation, right? Because most of the automation already existed years and years ago in advertising and lead generation. Like it's all automated, right? There's a million different ways to programmatically buy Facebook ads now. Like everything had already been automated. But the bottleneck, in my opinion, in advertising was the creative. I'm not the only person that knows that. There's a ton of people like transforming how they operate their agencies because now the creative can be done instantly. But my niche and where I see the biggest opportunity for myself is in lead generation. And the advantage operationally for me is that I can work faster than any company. I don't need to wait for anybody's approval. I don't need to. I'm my own everything, right? So if something needs to be developed, I can do that, right? If we need art done or logo done, I can do that. So that presents itself for 2026 in a really big, series of opportunities. Like I was saying, I want to sign on with more networks. That's another huge opportunity for us. Once I have a little bit more of my free time back, I do want to explore the open source advertising platform a little bit more. I think it's always struck me as an interesting thing about advertising that there's not like a popular open source ads platform. Agencies are happy to pay, $1,000 for a good platform or like whatever their, I don't know, there's a ton of them, right? But they have like media platforms and all that. And nobody really ever built a very popular open source tool. So like way end of the pipeline is going back to the tech project I was trying to build, which is that. And, putting more effort into biddable community, which is usable, but not really being used right now. And then further than that, I don't know. I'm not sure what the future brings. I might have another idea for a company and exit this one and do something else. We'll see.
Got it. Yeah. Obviously, we don't know what will happen, but obviously we'll aim for the big and whatever we will try our best. for whatever we do, obviously. So, and before we leave the episode, like if you would like to share one advice for the people out there who is in the marketing industry or who is really into the lead generation or, for the marketing especially. So one advice, if you could share.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if anybody's building any product in the marketing space, know who you're building it for. And that, that applies to startups. That's like, I think it's like YC piece of advice number one is make sure there's a market for it first, which again, that's a mistake that I made, building something nobody wants, classic. But even if your market is validated, know who your customer is, right? If you're building an ads platform, is your customer, a multi-billion-dollar advertising conglomerate, right? Are you selling to them? Are you selling to businesses? Are you selling to individual people? You really have to know exactly who you're building for. And I would say that's like broader than just marketing. It applies to like any company that anybody's trying to start, right? Like any startup has to have a customer that they know that exists and that they're going to go after aggressively. And I see a lot of people are like kind of confused on where to start with marketing, right? You should know who the market is and then build the product. And if you know who the market is, the marketing of the product becomes a lot easier, right? You got to know your market. That's number one. If
we really need to understand what is the ICP initially so that everything builds on top of that. Yeah, I really agree with you. And thank you, Andrew, for sharing all the information. And it has been really a wonderful conversation. Yeah, before we leave, if anyone wants to find you out, where they can check out for you online.
Yeah. So anybody can find me on LinkedIn, Andrew Jackquez. That's Andrew, Jaquez. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. If you reach out to me, I'll probably message you back. The company website is getbiddable.com. If you want to see, the secret sauce to how we get SMBs to sign up, like that's all on there. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to chat with any other entrepreneurs, anybody working on anything. And if you need leads, and please go on getbiddable.com and we can set you up. But yeah, thank you, Makata. It's been great to speak with you. Hopefully we can chat again in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. Yeah, it has been really pleasure having you on the show. And I really wish you all the very best for getbiddable.com and even for your future goals. Thank you very much.